The story begins in the quiet mountains, where a strange boy named Carag lives with his family. But Carag is not an ordinary human. Most of the time, he lives as a Puma, and only when needed, he can turn into a human. His family follows one strict rule: never go near humans because they believe humans are dangerous. That's why they stay hidden deep in the mountains. But as Carag grows older, his curiosity grows stronger. He starts wondering what humans are really like and why his family fears them so much. One day, he breaks the rule and enters the human world. There, a kind couple mistakes him for a lost child and decides to adopt him. Suddenly, Carag has a new home, a new family, and new siblings. Everything feels normal at first, but one morning, a news report on TV talks about strange animal attacks and mysterious accidents. This makes Carag uneasy because it all feels familiar to him. The same day, he leaves for school with his new mother Anna and his sister Melody. On the way, two black crows keep following their car. Carag becomes suspicious, wondering if they are shapeshifters like him. That night, even after stopping at a hotel, his fear doesn't fade. Around midnight, a strange sound wakes him up. When he looks out the window, he is shocked to see a pack of wolves running across the road and disappearing into a dark alley. At the same moment, all the lights in the building across the street suddenly turn off. Carag's heart starts racing. He knows this is not normal. The next morning, the family continues their journey, and after hours of driving, they finally reach Clearwater High School. As soon as Carag steps out of the car, he freezes. The same two black crows that followed them all the way are now standing there as students. Now Carag is sure his instincts were right. Before he can understand anything, the school principal Lisa warmly welcomes them and asks Anna how she found Carag. Anna explains that years ago, when she was a social worker, she was told about a frightened, abandoned child. That child was Carag. She couldn't leave him alone and later adopted him. Anna always felt that Carag never truly fit into city life, so when the letter from Clearwater High arrived, she believed this school could change his future. Lisa smiles after hearing this and asks Carag to speak with her privately. There, she reveals the truth. Every student in this school is a shapeshifter, just like him. Carag no longer needs to hide who he is. For the first time, he feels like he truly belongs somewhere. But suddenly, the school alarm starts blaring. Lisa rushes outside immediately, and what she sees next is deeply disturbing. Inside a restricted area of the school, Anna and Melody are walking calmly, but Principal Lisa is clearly not happy about it. She immediately orders her assistant to escort both of them out of the campus. Meanwhile, inside the school, Carag is overwhelmed. For the first time in his life, he is surrounded by so many shapeshifters in one place. While walking through the hallway, he bumps into Jeffrey and his group. The tension rises instantly, and it feels like a fight could break out at any moment until James steps in and cools things down. Soon after, the school hosts an official welcome ceremony. As it ends, Anna hugs Carag tightly and says goodbye, leaving with Melody. At that moment, Andrew arrives, a rich and powerful man who funds the entire school. While talking to him, Carag opens up and admits the truth. He left the mountains because he didn't want to live his whole life as just a Puma. He wanted to understand who he really is. Later, Carag reaches his dorm room, where Lisa explains a few important rules and then leaves. Suddenly, a squirrel appears at the window. It turns out to be Holly, who has been assigned as Carag's guide. In transformation class, the teacher gives a strict warning. Powers must only be used inside class and never in front of humans. Carag is then chosen to demonstrate his ability. But before he can act, Brandon, a bison shapeshifter, steps forward. When Brandon transforms, he loses control and can't stay human anymore. Chaos erupts in the classroom. Watching all this, Carag starts feeling uncomfortable. He realizes that he doesn't feel fully connected to his animal side. When it's his turn, he refuses to transform. That's when Lisa steps in and gently helps him, asking him to remember his past. Carag sees memories of the forest, running freely with his real family in the wild. Those memories awaken the power inside him, and finally, Carag transforms. At that moment, the principal orders all students to shift as well. That's when Carag understands the truth. Most students in this school are wolves. Lisa explains that Carag's true role is to maintain balance between both worlds, so he can understand humans and animals alike. That evening, Carag sits in his room, trying to process everything. Suddenly, Brandon shows up and tells him that they are now roommates. Shortly after, Holly arrives and invites him to dinner. In the cafeteria, Carag meets Dorian, a boy who can transform into a cat. Dorian shares his story. He once lived with humans as a pet, but when he was seen opening a sardine can with his hands, his secret was exposed. After seeing Carag's power, many students begin to respect him, while others start to fear him. Meanwhile, a small child who can transform into a tiny horse accidentally runs into Jeffrey and his wolf gang. The situation turns dangerous fast. Without thinking twice, Carag steps in to protect the child, making the conflict even more serious. Just in time, James arrives and stops the fight before it goes too far. That night, Carag dreams about his real family in the wild. Suddenly, a loud crash wakes him up. He sees that Brandon has transformed in his sleep, completely destroying his bed. Laughing, Brandon says this happens once or twice every week. That's when Carag realizes nights at this school are never truly peaceful. The next morning, during combat class, Brandon and Borda are selected to fight, but Brandon refuses and calls himself a pacifist, walking away from the match. The teacher then chooses Carag instead. Carag still doubts himself. That's when Andrew steps forward and hands him a small pouch. Inside it is Puma urine. The moment Carag smells it, something deep inside him awakens, and he instantly transforms. Even though Borda is much larger, Carag is faster, stronger, and fights with pure determination. In the end, Carag wins the fight. Next, it's Dorian's turn, but the smell of his opponent scares him, and he gives up the match. After class, Andrew approaches Carag. Impressed by his strength and spirit, he offers to become Carag's mentor. To prove his trust, Andrew gives him the same pouch of Puma urine and tells him that his future is very bright. But not everyone is happy about this. From a distance, Jeffrey watches everything, filled with jealousy. Seeing the school's sponsor support a new student so strongly fuels his anger. Driven by jealousy, Jeffrey challenges Carag. He says that if Carag can defeat the wolves in a duel, they will stop bothering him forever. That afternoon, Carag meets his friends in the treehouse and tells them everything. Brandon panics and warns him that fighting could get him expelled from school, but Carag refuses to back down. He's done running from fear and humiliation. Holly promises to stand by him, and even Brandon agrees, admitting he wants to see the wolves taught a lesson. As night falls, the three of them sneak out of the dorms. Before leaving, Carag activates his animal strength by smelling the pouch and transforms. When they reach the duel location, Carag asks who he'll be fighting. That's when he realizes the truth. It's a trap. Standing before him are not just two wolves, but Jeffrey and his entire pack. Even then, Carag doesn't run. Alone, he is stronger than any single wolf, but together, the pack attacks him from behind. Seeing how dangerous the situation has become, Holly pushes Brandon off the cliff so he can jump down and help. Brandon distracts the pack, and Carag fights back with everything he has. In the end, the wolves are forced to retreat. Jeffrey is defeated, and Carag proves one thing clearly. Even alone, he is not weak. The next morning, James notices that several students are injured, so he sends them straight to the infirmary. Their excuses sound weak, making it obvious that a fight happened during the night. Just as Carag is about to be called to the principal's office, something unexpected happens. Andrew invites him for a drive. On the road, Carag realizes that Andrew already knows everything. Andrew speaks honestly. A true Puma should not need help even against four wolves. Because Carag left his real family too early, he never truly learned how to hunt. That's why Andrew decides to train him and turn him into a real hunter. When they return, Lisa stops them immediately. Angry and strict, she warns Andrew not to give Carag any special treatment. She also warns Carag, if he wants to stay in this school, he must follow the rules and never fight outside class again. A little later, Holly and Brandon run to Carag, but suddenly he notices Lou walking toward the forest. Quietly, Carag follows her. There, he overhears a serious conversation between the teachers about the recent animal attacks. They are convinced that shapeshifters are behind them. If humans discover the truth, peace between the two worlds will be destroyed. That's why Lisa and the council want to stop these attacks at any cost. On the way back, Carag finally admits something important. During the road trip, he saw wolves attacking humans in a nearby town. He is certain it was Jeffrey's pack. The next day, Andrew keeps his promise and takes Carag into the forest for training. He teaches him how to hunt, how to choose prey, observe patiently, and strike at the perfect moment. Carag succeeds and catches a deer. The two eat together. On their way back, Andrew opens up emotionally. He reveals that he once had a daughter, and if she were alive today, she would be the same age as Carag. Later, during recess, Lou notices that Carag isn't eating. Carag tells her that he already hunted in the morning. Hearing this, Lou goes silent and walks away. She remembers the Puma attack on her mother, where her mother was badly injured. Feeling guilty, Carag follows her into the forest, but he fails to catch up with her. That night, Carag hears wolves howling outside his window. Suspicious, he follows Jeffrey's pack all the way to a nearby town. There, he sees the wolves scare a guard and break into a factory. Just as Carag is about to confront them, Andrew arrives. He stops everyone, orders the wolves into the car, and brings them all back to the school. After that, Andrew asks Carag to stay behind alone. That's when the shocking truth comes out. Andrew is the one behind all the recent animal attacks. Hearing this, Carag is completely heartbroken. He feels betrayed and realizes that maybe he should never have trusted Andrew in the first place. Andrew then reveals his painful past. Years ago, his wife and young daughter were killed in the forest by a hunter. From that day on, Andrew's heart filled with deep hatred toward humans. He believes humans have ruled nature, destroyed forests, and pushed countless animals toward extinction. For nearly 50 years, the school council tried to convince humans to protect nature, but instead of improving, things only got worse. That's when Andrew decided to take action himself. During dinner, a woman serves food, and Carag notices she has a prosthetic leg. Andrew explains that she is a snake shapeshifter who lost her leg in a road accident while in animal form. After this, Andrew asks Carag to join his plan. Carag refuses clearly, saying he doesn't want anyone to get hurt. Andrew responds that his goal isn't to kill humans, but to destroy their machines and stop projects that are destroying animal habitats. Carag says he will think about it and promises to keep the secret for now. The next morning, Carag helps Brandon with forest training. In his bison form, Brandon loses control and starts smashing through trees. Suddenly, he crashes into a car. To Carag's horror, it's the car of his adoptive parents who came to visit him. Panicked, Carag rushes over and quickly moves them inside, trying to hide everything before the situation gets worse. Inside his room, Anna notices a squirrel searching through Carag's belongings. At that moment, Principal Lisa arrives and scolds Anna strictly, reminding her that there are strict rules for visits at the school. Before leaving, Anna says she will stay in a nearby town for the weekend and asks Carag to come with her. Carag happily agrees. Later, Andrew also invites Carag to a special event that same weekend. Carag firmly refuses and says he is against harming humans. Andrew says nothing and simply ends the call. Feeling restless, Carag goes into the forest to clear his mind and practice transforming. Hours later, Wing finds him in a distressed state. Suddenly, a drone appears in the sky. Wing recognizes it as a hunter's drone, and tracking dogs are released. Carag hides high up in the trees, but the drone keeps following him. To save Carag, Wing destroys the drone and tells him to keep running. After a long chase, Carag collapses from exhaustion. That's when Shadow, one of the Crow Girls, appears and throws him clothes so he can return to his human form. With his friend's help, Carag heads back toward the school, but just before reaching the campus, he loses consciousness. Andrew finds Carag and takes him to his house so he can rest. When Carag regains consciousness, he tells Andrew everything about the hunter, the drone, and the chase. A terrifying thought suddenly hits him. What if the same thing that happened to Andrew's family also happened to his real family? That fear changes everything. Carag makes a difficult decision. He agrees to support Andrew's plan and join his fight. Before the first mission, Andrew reveals something shocking. He has already sent shapeshifters to search for Carag's real family, and if they are alive, they will be found. Soon after, Carag receives a call from Anna, who cancels their weekend trip using an excuse about an important appointment. At the same time, Brandon and Holly approach him, clearly worried and wanting to talk, but Carag starts pushing them away, keeping his distance. Not long after, Carag leaves with Andrew and the group toward a mine site. Once there, Andrew splits everyone into teams. Carag is assigned to drive the forest animals away, while Jeffrey and his pack are meant to scare the workers off without harming any humans. At first, Carag manages to scare away a few rabbits. Then his heart almost stops. He realizes that his adoptive parents are camping nearby. Panicking, Carag calls Andrew immediately. Andrew calmly says he saw them from afar in the valley and that they are safe. Still, something feels very wrong to Carag. The wolves scare the workers so badly that they jump into their truck and flee. Once the humans are gone, Derek climbs onto the truck and starts pushing down a massive pile of logs. Carag begs him to stop. If the logs fall, his family will be killed. At that moment, Brandon and Holly rush in to support Carag, making the situation even more intense. Suddenly, Shadow and Wing appear flying overhead. Seeing them, the wolves panic. They don't want to risk being reported or expelled from school, so they abandon the mission and run away. Now Lou steps forward, trying to reason with Derek. She warns that destroying everything will only make humans more violent, but Derek refuses to listen and pushes her aside. Enraged, the crows attack him. In fury, Derek transforms into a grizzly bear. To protect everyone, Brandon jumps in, and Holly joins the fight as well. In the chaos, Carag, now in his Puma form, throws Derek off the truck. At that moment, Andrew arrives and removes the logs stuck near the truck's wheels. The truck starts moving. That's when Carag realizes the truth. Andrew was deliberately allowing the logs to fall. Feeling completely betrayed, Carag turns on Andrew, and a brutal fight breaks out between them. But suddenly, Carag sees sees the logs rolling down the mountain toward the valley, straight toward the place where his family is staying. Without hesitation, Carag abandons the fight and runs with all his strength to stop the disaster. The logs crash down the mountain with a thunderous roar. Anna screams for everyone to hide, but Melody can't hear her because she's wearing headphones. By the time Melody realizes the danger, it's already too late. She screams, and in the final second, Carag, still in his Puma form, leaps forward and pushes Melody out of the way. Anna runs to her daughter and breaks down in relief when she sees Melody is alive. Shaking with fear, Melody says a Puma saved her, but her father insists it was just her imagination. Not long after, Lou and the others find Carag unconscious in the forest. For a terrifying moment, everyone thinks he's dead. Then suddenly, the giant Puma opens its eyes and everyone breathes again. As soon as Carag regains consciousness, he rushes to check on his family. That's when Andrew arrives, pretending he came at the last moment. He quickly calls in a helicopter and sends Carag's family to the hospital. Thankfully, everyone survives. Once he knows his parents are safe, Carag is filled with rage. He threatens Andrew, saying he will tell the principal the truth, that Andrew is behind the attacks. But Andrew plays his darkest card. He reveals that he has found Carag's real family in the Yellowstone Mountains, and he will only share their location if Carag stays silent. At that moment, Principal Lisa arrives. Andrew places all the blame on Derrick, claiming the entire attack was his plan. Lisa is suspicious, but as police sirens grow closer, she promises a full investigation and leaves. Back at school, Carag and his friends are welcomed like heroes. Everyone praises their bravery. Applause fills the campus. But Carag knows the truth. This fight is far from over. If you enjoyed this movie recap, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below to tell us what you thought about the film.